September 1961. 150 Irish soldiers, surrounded by 3,000 mercenaries. They hold that ground, and they don't blink.
Got our first tank.
September 13th, 1961, 7:40 a.m., Jadotville, Congo. Private Billy Reddy fires a warning shot. 156 Irish soldiers, most of them teenagers, are about to face an army of 3,000. For 5 days, they'll hold the line. They'll inflict over 1,300 casualties while suffering 0 combat deaths. It's one of the most remarkable defensive stands in military history. Their reward? To be branded cowards by their own country for the next 50 years. This isn't a story about defeat. It's a story about a stolen victory. And it starts with something far more dangerous than bullets. Money. June 30th, 1960. The Democratic Republic of Congo declares independence from Belgium after 75 years of brutal colonial rule. Within 11 days, the province of Katanga, home to some of the richest copper, cobalt, and uranium deposits on Earth, declares its own independence. This wasn't a grassroots movement. This was a corporate takeover disguised as nationalism. Meet Union Minière du Haut-Katanga, or UMHK, a Belgian mining conglomerate founded in 1906. By 1960, it controlled 70% of the Congolese economy and was responsible for 75% of the world's cobalt production. The uranium that destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki came from here. When Congo declared independence, UMHK had assets worth $430 million, over $4.5 billion in today's money. They weren't about to let a little thing like sovereignty get in the way of profit. Enter Moise Tshombe, leader of Katanga's secession. With UMHK's financial backing and Belgium's military support, he proclaimed Katanga an independent state. But Tshombe had a problem. His army, the Katangese gendarmerie, was mostly inexperienced local soldiers. So he hired professionals. French Foreign Legion veterans, Belgian paratroopers, Rhodesian mercenaries, men who'd fought in Algeria, Indochina, and World War II. They were paid $1,000 a month, the equivalent of $10,000 today, to keep Katanga independent. The United Nations intervened, creating ONUC, the United Nations operation in the Congo. Their mission: end the secession, expel the mercenaries, and restore Congolese sovereignty. Among those peacekeepers, A Company, 35th Battalion, Irish Defense Forces, 156 men. Their commander, Commandant Pat Quinlan, age 42, combat experience, classified. Quinlan was told his mission was simple: protect Belgian civilians in the mining town of Jadotville. Keep the peace, don't provoke anyone. He arrived in Jadotville on September 3rd, 1961. Within hours, he realized he'd been sent to a death trap. A small mining town, 100 kilometers northwest of Elizabethville, Katanga's capital. Population, mostly Belgian settlers working for UMHK. Tactically, it was a nightmare. Any enemy with mortars or machine guns on those hills could rain fire down on the Irish with impunity. Quinlan's position: a flat, exposed UN compound surrounded by hills on 3 sides. Quinlan immediately requested fortifications, heavy weapons, and reinforcements. UN headquarters denied every request. Their reasoning? The mission was peacekeeping. Building defenses might look aggressive. Quinlan's response was distinctly Irish. He ordered his men to dig trenches, 5 feet deep, all around the compound. For 10 days, A Company dug. UN command called him paranoid. The Belgian civilians called him rude. Quinlan didn't care. He'd read the intelligence reports. Katangese forces were massing nearby. Mercenaries were being seen in town. The locals, many employed by UMHK, were suddenly avoiding the Irish. On September 12th, Belgian civilians began evacuating Jadotville. Quinlan sent an urgent message to UN headquarters. Enemy attack imminent. Request immediate reinforcement. The response? Maintain position. No reinforcements available. Because on that same day, September 13th, the UN was launching Operation Morthor in Elizabethville, 100 kilometers away, a massive operation to arrest mercenaries and seize key positions in Katanga's capital. Every available UN soldier was committed to Morthor. A Company was alone.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Dominus vobiscum.
September 13th, 1961, 7:30 a.m. Most of A Company is attending morning mass. At 7:40 a.m., Private Billy Reddy, on sentry duty, spots movement on the hills. The attack begins. 3,000 Katangese gendarmes and mercenaries attack in waves of 600 men. They're supported by heavy machine guns, 81mm mortars, and armored cars. The Irish? They have 156 men, 60-year-old Vickers machine guns, rifles, 2 Swedish-made 84mm Carl Gustaf anti-tank guns they've never been trained to use. Oh, and those anti-tank guns? Completely ineffective against armored cars. The shells just bounce off.
Did it just bounce?
It bloody bounced.
That was an 84.
We're in a bit of trouble, lads.
Aye, big bit.
Quinlan's orders are simple.
Let them get close. Make every shot count.
The mercenaries expect the peacekeepers to surrender immediately. They're wrong. The Irish fire, the surgical precision. Their kill ratio is devastating. The first wave is annihilated. The second wave retreats in disarray. The mercenaries regroup. They call in their secret weapon, a Fuga Magister CM-170. The Fuga was a French jet trainer converted into a ground attack aircraft. It's armed with 7.62mm machine guns and unguided rockets. Katanga had 3 of them, delivered by arrangement with France, technically violating the UN arms embargo. The pilot? Belgian mercenary José Magan, flying under a false identity because he was supposed to have been expelled from Katanga weeks earlier during Operation Rum Punch. For 5 days this continues. The jet strafes, mortars rain down, wave after wave of infantry attack. The Irish hold. Day 2. A supply helicopter attempts to drop ammunition. It misses. The crate lands in enemy territory. A minor logistical error. Day 3. Water runs low. Temperatures reach 40 degrees Celsius. Day 4. Ammunition down to a handful of rounds per man. Quinlan requests relief. UN headquarters sends a column. 500 Indian, Swedish, and Irish troops. They're ambushed 15 kilometers away. 5 killed. The column retreats. The Irish are on their own. September 17th, day 5. A Company has suffered 5 wounded, none killed. Enemy casualties. Estimated 300 dead, over 1,000 wounded. But the math is unavoidable. No water, no ammunition, no relief coming. Quinlan faces the professional soldier's nightmare, a choice between tactical brilliance and strategic impossibility. Fight to the last man and die for nothing, or surrender and save 156 lives. For Quinlan, there was no choice at all. They surrendered. For 6 weeks, they were held as prisoners of war in reasonably humane conditions, better than UN rations, according to some. They were released on October 25th as part of a prisoner exchange. When they returned to Ireland in December, there were no parades, no medals, just whispers. They were called the Jadotville Jacks, the soldiers who gave up, an embarrassment to be buried and forgotten. So why were heroes treated like cowards? Because the truth was dangerous. The truth, the UN command under Lieutenant General Sean McCowan sent 156 lightly armed soldiers into an exposed position, denied them support, then abandoned them during a coordinated enemy assault. The official story: peacekeepers surrender, operation fails, move on. Admitting the truth would have exposed catastrophic command failures at the highest levels of both the UN and the Irish Defense Forces. It was far simpler to blame the men on the ground. Commandant Quinlan had recommended 29 of his men for bravery medals. Every recommendation was denied. The official reason? Surrendering, even under impossible circumstances, disqualified them from recognition. For decades, the men of A Company lived with the stigma. Many suffered severe PTSD. Some were passed over for promotions. Others left the military entirely. One man, Sergeant John Gorman, spent 40 years campaigning for the truth. In 2005, the Irish government finally launched a review. In 2016, 55 years later, A Company was awarded a Presidential Unit Citation for gallantry. Pat Quinlan never lived to see it. He died in 1997, age 78. His family refused the medal posthumously awarded to him in 2025. because the men he'd recommended for honors still hadn't been recognized. This is the Jadotville principle. When an institution's reputation is threatened, it will sacrifice the truth and the people who lived it to protect its narrative. The first casualty isn't truth, it's the people inconvenient enough to embody it. A Company didn't lose at Jadotville. They won one of the most lopsided defensive battles in modern history, but they lost the battle that mattered most, the battle of the story. It took a Netflix movie, a grassroots campaign, and the deaths of most of the men involved before the record was corrected. History isn't only written by the victors, it's written by whoever controls the paperwork.